All right, Knut, crack open your can because Niko was too keen. That was my fault. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, friends.
Cheers.
Cheers. To the moon.
Cheers.
All right, guys. What are we going to talk about?
I'm very excited. Nice to be here. High five. Not used to wearing a suit in a podcast.
No, exactly. I'm not used to podcasts being filmed.
No?
So, all right. Well,
You better get used to it, I guess.
Where do we want to start? Shall we start on this crazy little gang that has assembled here, answering the call of Andre to come across to Madeira and take part in some of these crazy meetings?
Yeah, we shall we tell the backstory and the lead up to this thing?
Please do.
Niko here is not appearing as often in podcasts as I am, but we met a couple of years ago online, and he did some translations of my books and coordinated all that. He's the CEO of Consensus Network, which is the world's first and only Bitcoin publishing house. So which one do I look into? Like that one. All right. So we had a couple of conversations, and then I get an offer from another guy who wants to translate my first two books into Portuguese, which was not one of the languages that I had translated into at that point. And his name is Andre, and he gives me an offer that is quite nice. So I signed the contracts, and he's translating the books. And I had just signed another deal with Niko. I don't know if I remember this correctly, or we had at least talked about.
Yeah, probably we talked about it.
We talked about doing everything divided by 21 million as Consensus Network first book in the original language, which is English.
Right.
So he shoots me a message and like, you're translating the books to Portuguese? We can do that. Like, well, what is this? And of course, it turns out that Andrea and Niko would then be very close friends as like just a couple of days after that, and now
Right.
we're working together, of course, because we're all in this for the same reason, and we're all here to help Bitcoin. And that's sort of what I want to let this conversation be about, how Bitcoin. Bitcoin is for enemies, but Bitcoin is also for friends, and that we create so much on top of the value of the sats and the Bitcoins. It's not only that, but the true value of this thing is the people you meet, and the high quality of integrity and intelligence and all of these traits that the people in this space tend to have, and how I mean, I'm so extremely grateful for all the help I've received from artists and translators and podcasters and whatnot. It's just mind-blowing how Bitcoin did this to us. Like, help. I view it as Bitcoin unlocked something in all of us. Like, that was already there. We just couldn't see it until we had this framework of sound money and truthfulness. And now all of a sudden we can be honest, not only to others, but honest to ourselves and what we truly are. And it's so much better. We don't even need money anymore. We can just help each other with whatever we want to do. I got sidetracked. I was telling the story about how this came to be, but like
Bitcoin does that.
So Andre and Niko got to know each other and befriended each other, and then Andre had this crazy idea of orange pilling the president of Madeira, which turned out not quite the way he had planned it. He had planned to take some people over here, and then some of them couldn't make it. You know more about this than I do, but Andre and and Miguel and Daniel and the Prince Philip of Serbia and some other people got on a plane to Bitcoin Miami instead, and he was thoroughly orange-pilled there.
Yeah, he definitely was exposed to some interesting orange pilling sessions, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then that's why, that this whole idea of the organization kind of sprung from that.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here, going around and having these meetings and living the meme, as you would say.
Living the meme, and there's so much to this because as some of the viewers may already know, me and Daniel go back a couple of years, and we became friends instantly the first time we talked, I think, and I quit my Fiat job this spring and I drove down to Spain this autumn and met Daniel in real life for the first time in August.
Yeah.
And then the second time we met each other in real life was in Miami, and we found ourselves on Michael Saylor's yacht, sharing in champagne and giggling a lot because we thought we would do that at 100k rather than 42k, but
and here we are at 20.
Yeah, here we are at 21. So isn't that poetic? And then you decided to go to Madeira. Just a week after Miami. I was sort of exhausted after Miami, so I slept for 2 days straight, and I decided not to go. And then Christian came along to my place in Spain and paid me a visit, and we decided to go to Madeira because I had some other offers, a meetup in Madrid and a meetup in Lisbon and stuff like that, and we made this little trip to Madeira together and met Niko and met Andre and started and had a meeting with the president as well. So I keep on pinching my arm because this whole thing just keeps on happening, and it's all quite surreal, but also very, very more real than anything I've ever done before in my past career. I feel I'm doing what's closest to my heart, and to be a part of the Bitcoin movement and trying to make the transition into hyper-Bitcoinization smoother for people is it's very rewarding on a personal level, and I think we've just found 21 more steps on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we're climbing that ladder right now. That's how I view this.
Niko, we chatted recently on the podcast, and we went through your kind of backstory and leaving your fiat life and trying to forge a new life in the Bitcoin space and starting this publishing company. What an incredible journey, number one. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What have you taken away from meeting this group of people, being part of this, the last 3 or 4 days? Is this moving quicker than you even imagined, or is this...
Yes, even in my wildest dreams. I mean, it's truly is a marvel, like how Bitcoiners rally and come together from all walks of life, from all different perspectives. But the selling point is, Bitcoin, freedom, liberty, for everybody. Not just because, we want it for everybody. And that's exactly why I started Consensus Network, because every single grandpa and grandma deserves to know this, have this knowledge. It's immensely powerful and valuable knowledge. And that's how we got together with Andre. Like, it was actually funny story. Like Knut said, Andre is doing the Portuguese translation. So basically, we were competitors with Andre at first, because I was doing the Portuguese version of the Bitcoin standard, and we didn't know about each other at all. And it was actually through Knut that Knut said that, hey, you should talk to this Andre guy. And a little bit, like a couple days before that, I saw like Andre chilling Madeira, and who is this guy? I didn't know him.
I can also do dating services. It's not only you.
And full disclosure, because the cat is about to be out of the bag, I moved to Madeira like a year ago. Madeira held by another Bitcoiner who shall be unnamed. But the funny thing is that it turns out we were practically neighbors with Andre, and we were doing the same thing, which is publishing Bitcoin books in Portuguese, which is kind of like that should not happen.
Posting on Twitter, of course.
And shit posting on Twitter, of course.
It's a niche.
But that was like niche on niche on niche. And it shouldn't happen statistically. And yet it did. And it's like, you know, I don't believe in something like supernatural or destiny. But sometimes like this, it just feels like when things come together and people come together and amazing things start to happen, it's just you feel blessed in a way, if that's a correct word to use.
So being a part of, so now that cat's out the bag. I didn't know you were going to do that. So
I didn't know either.
Okay.
I don't know when this is going to be out, so I have time to prepare.
All right. So you've been on Madeira for a year. So you have the boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Like you. This must be so amazing for you to see this all start coming together, and you've been part of every meeting that we've been going to.
Yeah.
So you've met the people here that are going to be able to, appropriate this change. Obviously, Bitcoiners are going to drive it, but in tandem with, the regulators and the people that can really push this. What have you been feeling about that so far?
Oh man, I like to say that you should strive to be the stupidest person in a room. Otherwise, you should maybe go to another room so you can learn. And definitely these couple days I've felt that really hard. And it's a good feeling. It's a great feeling.
I can
to
think
be
of
around.
at least 4 people that were stupider than you in that room.
It's not an accurate science. And
Two of whom are sitting right here.
Maybe if I formulate it differently, I would say that if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room.
Exactly.
Anyway, magnificent minds, different fields, everything coming together. And like you said, Dan, things are moving so rapidly, so fast. Like when I got here a year ago, I didn't know anybody, no Bitcoiners, no other people either. And then I met Andre. And at that time, Andre didn't have this plan with the president and everything. And we were talking about maybe doing some mining or other kinds of things together. It was still very grassroots. But we hit it off with Andre, and what a great guy. And also he has a publishing house called Monstera Books, which is specializing in the Portuguese Bitcoin literature. And we, of course, work together. So you can also find Andre's books from our shop and pay with Bitcoin if you like.
To add that to the Consensus Network has a ton of books in a ton of languages. And if you use Bitcoin to pay for them, you get 10% off.
Yeah.
And also, if you use one of our referral codes, you get another 10% off. So,
right.
So check out the website, definitely.
Yeah.
Nice shill.
Yeah, that's a shill. That's a shameless shill.
That was perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah, we have like 35 books in the shop right now, already published, and we also launched the ebooks, which a lot of people don't know, but you can actually get almost all of our books in ebooks also, just direct downloads. We don't do DRM except for some select titles for licensing reasons, but still, it just works. You can sling sats to our PTC Pay server and download the book, and there you go. It works pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with the result. And we have 35 books out now, but we have another 35 in the pipeline. So by the end of the year, we should have. We've been doubling our selection every year. So things are moving really rapidly, and I think like shout out to everybody who is working with us with translations. We have like over 50 volunteers working on the translation, doing a hell of a job. They don't expect to get paid right away. If we make some money, we'll sling some sats and everybody wins. Like that's the plan, that's the idea of the company.
And this is the perfect part as well of like the education pillar. Like we've been discussing here, like that first day we all got together and we were just brainstorming. Like what's this organization that Andre is trying to put up to help adoption here on the island? What's that going to look like? And that pillar of education is obviously key, with written literature, and you have been gifting these books in Portuguese, the ones that you have written too. Who was it today? The Minister of Finance?
Yeah, the Minister of Finance. I gave him all of the books that we did in Portuguese in one batch.
Shill those books. Let the plebs know like what he's going to be reading.
He's going to be reading the Bitcoin Standard, Fiat Standard, Bullish Case for Bitcoin, Price of Tomorrow, and of course everything divided by 21 million. And which is not Portuguese yet, but it's in the works.
But like 2 of those authors were in that meeting.
Right.
Yeah. This is what's
also
going on.
mind blowing.
Yeah. Like you can't underestimate that at all. Like it's incredible that we all, and this is something we've been trying to make the people understand when we're in this meeting. Like this isn't like a Bitcoin company coming here. Like you're not head of marketing. You're not like the CTO. Like trying to make them understand, from a very base level, what Bitcoin is and how important it is.
And since we all lost all of our Bitcoins in various tragic boating
on the boat
accidents,
on Sunday.
Yeah, we don't even have any Bitcoins, so we're not even pumping our bags.
No.
Disclaimer.
Yes.
No, it's just a great privilege to be in this group and to like, I mean, sitting next to Jeff and you guys and Orange Pilling, all these people. I mean, not only the politicians. I mean, many of you know that I'm a voluntarist. I don't really believe in politics or politicians. I have a default distrust in them. But in all of these institutions around the world, more and more people are getting orange pilled. If it's by books or by other means, it doesn't really matter. But Bitcoin is everywhere. This is the true grassroots movement, and it's like maybe 120 million Bitcoin users out there today, and we're all a part of a nation without borders, if you will, and without leaders. This is a true libertarian nation of the world, and we're helping. Like I said before, what we're trying to achieve is make the transition smoother for the man on the street, because when the euro breaks down, and when the dollar breaks down, and when the EU, like the writings are on the wall, it's not going to sustain itself for very long.
And that's why it could be still like a couple decades. We don't know that, but the writing is on the wall. But the problem is people don't read the writing.
No, they don't realize that the money printer is the problem.
Right.
They think it's the savior because that's what they're told. We've just
print more money and somehow we create more wealth.
Christine Lagarde comes on the television here and says we just printed 200 billion euros into the economy for your safety.
But her son is orange pilled, so how?
He's probably shitcoining.
He's probably shit. I think he might be a shitcoiner right now, but that he will also learn his lessons. Yeah, he's using the gateway drug. Which is a bad drug. I mean, shitcoins. As I've been telling, like the secretary or whatever the title was, and like today, and Miguel and the president and the International Business Center guy, and like the shitcoins, the other cryptos. They're the opposite of what Bitcoin is. It's not only that they're different, they're the literal opposite. Because Bitcoin is based around truth and around a fixed number, and they're just shitcoins.
But here's the problem, like, shitcoiners approach politicians because they play the same game. Like, shitcoins are fiat, right?
Exactly.
And that's why the politicians find shitcoins appealing. Because it's something they already know, they are familiar with. Bitcoin is something that has never existed, until 2009.
And to add to that, it will make them redundant.
Right, it will.
In the long run. And some of them would see that, some of them won't. And some of them, I mean, a lot of politicians are old and they want, they might have gotten into politics in their 20s. And or their teens or whatever, and they had this whole career, and they didn't see the flaws of the system until later on in their career when they started a family and got different goals in life. But an old politician like waiting for his pension that is coming in 5 years, regardless of what position, might see this and for once be honest, just to give his children a chance to have a better life. And I think there are many examples of politicians like that out there. I mean, people aren't bad by default. They're living in a system that is making them bad actors without even them knowing that they are. But they can, a government can only acquire their wealth and power through coercive methods. There's no other way. So it's not voluntary.
Right. So let me walk you through my mental gymnastics of justifying doing politics, because what we're doing here on Madeira is politics, which I'm not a fan of, and I know you're not a fan of, and I know none of us are a fan of. Yeah. However, what I said earlier, like shitcoiners, they will go that road. Mm-hmm. And the politicians who are actually in power, they will listen to them. So we either sit back and do nothing, or we stand up and do something. And something is what we're doing, and something's going to go down. And it better be us giving out that information.
This is real. It is real. We know of shitcoiners that have approached these people and tried to bribe them.
Yes.
And
in classic fiat legacy lobbying style.
In classic fiat lobbying style. Or, well, they're bribes. That's what they are.
Exactly.
They're giving someone a portfolio full of cash and hoping for the best.
Well, we learned there was that group on the island trying to push, they infiltrated through the university, and then they're trying to push Madeira coin.
Yeah,
This is dangerous.
There was all that shit.
Yeah.
And we're here to protect the integrity of the transition, and to a certain part to protect the politicians that
put them on the correct path.
Yeah, put them on the correct path and protect them in any way we can. And they're human beings, and we're grateful to be here and to be able to do this, for sure.
Yeah.
I've said it a million times. Crypto, shitcoins, altcoins have influencers, Bitcoin has educators. And that is a very, very stark difference.
That's
your books, your work, these podcasts. We're here on our own dime, pretty much. Yeah. Going around on our own time as well. We've all flown away. We're away from our families, going through these meetings and trying to help people just understand just the tiniest bit of what a difference it could make to not only their lives, but the people of Madeira.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't understand is why we do that. Why would we devote our time and our lives to this kind of thing? What's the profit motive? Like, this is the fiat mindset talking. Like, what's your angle? Like, everybody's a little bit skeptical. Like, oh, you're trying to sell me something or something. No, just simply educate you, because, and let me be clear, I'm doing it completely from selfish reasons. Because I want to live in a better world. I want my grandchildren to live in a decent world. So I want people to be decent. How do I get people to be decent? Introduce productive incentive models, which Bitcoin does perfectly.
Yeah, we're here to orange pill, and that's what we do, and we just keep on doing it.
Are you going to drop the news?
What news? about your dating service, Bitcoin Tinder.
I was talking to the guys earlier. How can it be Bitcoin Tinder? There's no women in Bitcoin. It's got to be Bitcoin Grinder.
No. It's
sausage.
Gay Bitcoin Tinder. That's sausage fest Tinder.
Yeah, circle jerk Tinder.
This might be a circle jerk, but there's only one hexagonal yerk.
Don't bring him
I'm
into it.
not going any further.
No,
than
no,
that.
no, no.
Yeah.
Future plans.
For me,
Yeah.
I think I'm moving here. Like, why not? I feel like I have insider information on the future of the human race. Like, and it's places like this and El Salvador that are going to make it. And like, the EU has been like sidelined by this thing a lot. I mean, the EU is a big bureaucratic machine, and it affects Madeira too, and it's hard to know how to tackle that. And that's been a big part of what we're doing here when trying to navigate those waters.
But we've been educated ourselves as well. Like,
Yeah,
in these
yeah, we've been
meetings,
listening to like.
I've learned an
But-
who knows how these things run really until you sit down in front of the guys and listen to them. And
Yeah.
listen, yeah.
And we met some really, really competent people.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they're skeptical, but they also want to. They're also very keen to learn, and that's key. And what was the question again?
Future plans
For me
for
personally,
you, and you're thinking about moving here.
yeah, I'm moving here. That's at some point. When that point is yet to be decided. But if you want to come here and join me and hang out or do whatever, I'll be here.
I think we have the same mentality. I think it'll be any time within the next 1 to 12 months that family Prince will probably be moving across to Madeira.
Yeah.
Because you're already here. Let's say another guy, another Bitcoiner pleb, he just turned up. We shall call him Bob. Because that's probably his name, actually his name. But he's here with his family, and it's just bringing more and more people together, protecting this idea of how do we help educate this island, these people that are here, and the difference that could make to those people could just be such. This is the El Salvador moment of Europe.
Yeah, exactly. And people in Europe don't want to move to El Salvador. Like, if this is an option, they will all come here. And that's like, we need a place, we need more than one. We need a lot of places like this in Europe. And we need the hyper-Bitcoinization to start somewhere. And there are so many angles to this and so much to do. So like,
and what plebs need to understand as well, it's not like we've been able to pay with Bitcoin for everything. Like, that's not even here yet. We've been managing to tip our waiters and people we met. The guys went surfing the other day and they managed to get the guy to accept Bitcoin. We tipped that guy in the middle of nowhere in Nun Valley. Like,
yeah. We that was a trip too. Yeah, but it's such a beautiful island. It's just mind-bogglingly beautiful, and to preserve what they have and like to maintain all these houses and to keep this island thriving for another 100 years, it's going to take Bitcoin. The euro is not going to do it. So come to Madeira.
What I find curious about Madeira is, and a concept that I learned on the first day, diaspora. Of Madeira diaspora.
Yeah, explain what that word means for those people.
Right. So it's like this feeling of longing or belonging to a place, and when you're somewhere else, you have this feeling or urge to go back to Madeira, and also I guess Portugal, but we're talking about specifically Madeira's diaspora here, and I guess I can't say that I felt that before I came here. I just saw some pictures, but I made that decision pretty fast. That's how I roll. Like when I'm thinking options, it took me 2 months of pondering, and then I just pulled the trigger and came here, and I loved it. And now, like normally what happens to me is that within a year, I get bored of wherever I am. I get anxious. I get like I need to get moving, go somewhere else. I don't get that here. Like I'm not interested in going anywhere right now. Mm-hmm. So that's a very interesting phenomenon, and I've observed that while I've been here. Like people have been coming visiting. Almost everybody, like I would say everybody, is to some extent in love with the island, and a lot of those people are moving here. Like holy shit, like just like that. Especially Bitcoiners, like they come here, check out the place. Yeah, looks good. Next month. Yeah, I just moved here yesterday.
You
know,
mean
like,
you never felt that in Finland?
No, no. Yes, that's my birth country. But no, I felt the opposite. I needed to get away. I just it took me a while to realize that, and once I did, I never wanted to really go back unless I really had to, for some reason. No offense to Finns, but you know the country sucks. Yeah. There's one thing that I love about Finland, and that is sauna, which you can't really find anywhere else.
Is what?
Sauna.
What? A sauna?
No, it's sauna.
A sauna?
Yes.
Which is sitting in a hot tub of water, no?
No.
It's
a
a
hot
sauna.
room.
The hot room, right, okay.
It's a sauna.
What do you mean you can't find it everywhere else? It's everywhere.
No,
No?
it's not.
Come on.
No.
Sweden. We got Sweden over here.
We got tons of saunas.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have saunas. You go and flip through an
Oh, you mean-
Aftonbladet
Yeah,
with a towel on.
Maybe we don't have the vodka and the courage to dive into the...
I had no idea there was sauna wars.
There is,
Sauna.
and there's only one real sauna, and that is Finnish sauna. You cannot change my mind.
How could it differ? It's just a wooden cabin full of hot air.
Okay, I guess we have to go to Finland and find out.
You hate the place.
But I do love sauna, and my problem is that I've been to like 40 countries, and there are no saunas anywhere else. Swedish saunas are the closest to what I call a real sauna.
Have you been to Norwegian ones?
No, I
They're
haven't.
pretty close too.
I imagine so, yes, but still not the real thing.
Yeah, we had a real sausage fest in Norwegian sauna this
All right,
January.
let's move on from the sauna.
But that's actually quite an interesting story too. Like I was supposed to attend not the sauna and the sausages.
Right, I was going to say,
is
where's
not
this
about
going?
that. It's about Norway, and like I was invited by Erik Dahle, who's a big name in the Bitcoin community in Norway, to a Christmas dinner in Bergen in January. But COVID bullshit stopped all that because you couldn't gather more than 50 people together. But because apparently the virus is more dangerous if you're more than 50 people.
Yeah.
So a few of us were invited to his cabin in Geilo instead in Norway, a ski resort in Norway. So we had a couple of really good days up there. Hodlanos was there, and a couple of other guys, and Christian showed up, who's here now. Christian Ander, the founder of the first Swedish Bitcoin exchange, BTCX.se, and so if that hadn't happened, Christian probably wouldn't have visited me in Spain, and we probably wouldn't have decided to go to Madeira together last month, and I probably wouldn't be sitting here. So, and he would definitely not be sitting here. So the stars are aligning somehow, and I think the inevitability of this thing, when you see it through that lens, and when you hang out with this group of people and you realize that we're not giving each other Bitcoin and trading, we're just hanging out, and that's like if Bitcoin went away tomorrow, the value of this network would be the same, because all it is it's us, and it just unlocked something in us that was always there.
Well, you said the other day, like, you had no idea you'd get 2 bites at life, or something like that.
Yeah, a second chance at life. Like, it's not that I had a bad life before Bitcoin. I had a good life in fiat terms. I mean, I was wasting my time working every day on something that wasn't me. And by the way, this is my 6th time in Madeira. I've been here as a tall ship sailor. I've been here as just a bum sailor. I've been here as a tourist, and now I'm here as a Bitcoiner. So, and I've loved this island since the first time I was here. You can see the tall ship I was on in a mural on the pier. It's graffitied into the pier in Funchal. Anyway, where was I going with this?
The idea that you've been kind of redefined.
I kind of had a rebirth.
Right.
And when I decided to go full time and like see how far I could take this personally, I mean, it's not like I'm making tons of money from it, but I'm making it turns into a very, very satisfying life, because you get to meet all these great people and these great minds, and you have conversations like 3 minutes with Jeff or Obi or one of you guys or anyone else in this group really, or like with other Bitcoiners, those minutes are so valuable. So it's like totally worth it for just that, and that's like that's like what I like to call layer 21. and when you start thinking about what you could actually do and stuff, and when you realize that you could just do Bitcoin between each other, and it really becomes this nation that is everywhere, and we're all in it together, and it's just mind-blowingly beautiful.
And we got to start closing it down, because we've got a pretty cool event to go to and hang out with some of these people.
Yeah, that's why I look like Borat, by the way.
Huh?
That's why I look like Borat.
That's why you look like Borat, exactly. But I'm sure the plebs would really appreciate some kind of behind-the-scenes story of anything that you guys have found particularly amusing or heartwarming the last 4 or 5 days. I'm pretty sure anybody here in the group would not mind if we were to share some kind of information. Anything come to mind for you? Knut looks all right. Yeah, go on then, Knut, you go.
Yeah, I the first night we were out and we were having a good time, of course, and then the subject of karaoke came up, and I decided to sing a song, and people seemed to like it, so they forced me into singing again on the bus to the west side of the island where we were like 2 days ago. And apparently Greg Foss didn't like my singing, so he offered to perform fellatio on me in order to shut me up. But I didn't take the offer.
And I'm glad you didn't.
You have a very... you're a baritone?
I think I'm a tenor.
A tenor. Did you know, like, it's your grandfather?
Yeah, my grandfather's brother was a world famous opera singer back in the 30s and 40s.
We got a bit of that on the bus. Yeah. For sure. It was
sorry about that.
It was amazing. Niko.
Yeah, my story is also about Craig. He's an interesting character. I mean, I've been impressed by a ton of things, so it's hard to like, and I'm not going to bore you with all of them. But I will name the moment that I saw Greg do a backflip to the Atlantic Ocean. And that impressed the hell out of me, because, like, you know, he's a boomer. Like, I should be able to do that, but I can't. So that was impressive to me. And he did it a lot of those.
Yes, he did. I'm going to go with the Fist of Booth.
The Fist of Booth.
The Fist of Booth, which I'd never noticed before, and we pulled him up on this last night over some poncha. Whenever Jeff, you know when he's about to like go full booth on someone and just drop the fire, because the fist comes out, and it would just come. He'll be talking, and he'll have your eye, the booth eye as well. But he'll be talking to any one of these dignitaries that we've met, or whoever we've met, ministers, and then all of a sudden, the Fist of Booth just appears. We're like, oh, he's gone into that mode, which he uses to kind of explain things like this. And it's just, it was great fun to like pull his leg about that last night at the Poncha bar. Poncha, for those that you don't know, is the kind of local rum on the island, which they mix with fresh fruits, and there's always a poncha run about midnight. So it's been an amazing time.
Yeah, we're enjoying ourselves for sure.
Guys, this has been an awesome rip. Is there anything that you wanted to close on before we shut it down?
You'll find my stuff on knutsvanholm.com. Buy my book, for fuck's sake, and buy a T-shirt while you're at it, and also use the referral code Knut Svanholm and buy other books on Niko's Consensus Network webpage. And we're just very happy to be here and proud to be here and do what we can to make the transition a bit smoother.
Thanks, Knut. Yeah, go check out our books at consensus.network. If you want to follow very melancholic, toxic tweets, you can follow me at Omnifin on Twitter. But yeah, thanks Dan for inviting us once again. I love talking about Bitcoin. I love talking about Madeira now. I'm not telling you to come here because, you know, I don't want you to sink the island, but you know, maybe you want to consider it. There's certainly options to staying in cold and dark all the time.
Oh, we should promote the hashtag Unfollow Friday.
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
This is Niko's idea, Unfollow Friday, where
I started a year ago.
You tweet out a list of people to unfollow.
Okay.
Just to curate your content.
That's actually not the idea. The idea is that people unfollow me. So I tweet out a list of controversial opinions that I hold, and I ask people to unfollow me if they disagree.
Right.
Okay.
And if they feel raw about it, to block me.
Right.
And that has been actually quite a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I want to make it a thing. I started it a year ago, but it hasn't really caught on. But I always get a lot of engagement for that, so I keep doing that every now and then.
I'll look out for it.
And it's good for filtering. Like you maybe, you know, like once you start to have more and more followers, you know, maybe you want to weed some of those out and invite people who do actually share those controversial opinions of yours. Yeah. Like it's not all
build a perfect little echo chamber.
Exactly. It's not all about inclusiveness, guys. Like, you know, you choose, your time is extremely valuable. You want to spend it with people that share your views, that love things that you love, not to explain the same thing over and over again to an idiot who is not even interested in agreeing with you ever.
I'd not seen this Unfollow Friday because I stopped following him ages ago. All right, guys. Great rip. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.